solid waste fee.
I think part of it was perception that it would maybe, it's tangible. Somebody sees, my trash is getting picked up every, week, and I'm paying for that, and other towns are doing that, and it wouldn't, be seen as a tax increase. It just might be the way that the public perceives it, but,
I got you. All right.
yeah.
All right. I was just curious of kind of what, if it wasn't restricted, why where we were.
And again, it was just scenarios like, what if, would it be a more palatable way of generating some revenue?
So Jesse, is it correct that the best line to be looking at is on page 2 of net versus page 1 of revenues over expenditures?
That is the total bottom line, yes.
Yeah.
But when I say the scenarios cover operating, that's the bottom line on page 1. Did that make sense?
Operating being expenses minus capital expenditures?
Meaning just the everyday routine expenditures, not factoring in the big capital stuff.
Right.
Some capital things are in this front page, like police cars. We replace those every year, so that's not a big one-time capital thing. So those would be on the front page, but something like a new playground that's only being done every however many years, that's not regular, that would be on that second page in that second total.
Thank you.
Do we have sheets that show how our projections, past projections and the actuals compare to each other? Like how good were our projections for the last several years?
I can do that for you.
I think it would be useful to see how, are we consistently high or low on something? Just for the last couple of years.
I think the two things, I mentioned this a little bit, I'm glad you asked that, Mayor. The two big things that we saw really three big things were investment earnings. That was much higher than expected.
Why was it much higher?
Just the investments went well, we were investing them well.
The returns were well.
And we have more cash on hand, frankly. Sales and use tax, that came in much higher than we were thinking. And ad valorem was steady as well, so.
So if we are consistently high on, say, the sales and use tax, comes in higher than expected, then maybe we're a little too conservative on our projection?
Well,
Or how did it?
past performance is
Why
not.
else would it be that high over, a trending high over several years?
Well, I'd say this is, past performance is not guarantee future performance. It's fine until we have another recession, right? So the reason we're being more conservative, right? If we knew the economy, we weren't gonna go into a recession, I think we could go into this and do higher numbers. In fact, if we knew the economy was in a recession, I think we'd do a disservice to our community to not do so. I think the challenge we've got is that budgeting on the revenue side, it's forecasting. And if you go too low and come back high, it's like, okay, that's great, we're in this situation, we've got this extra money, we know we've got it in hand and we can put it towards things, we can save it towards a rainy day. But if you go a bit too aggressive and the bottom falls out, then you're in a big hole. And that's what keeps me awake at night at times, is going too high and doing that, especially, and that's one of the reasons I went over the economist data that we heard, that thanks to you, Mayor, we got access to. The economy, there's some good things, but there's some also things that we should be concerned about. So that's why we were more conservative in those projections.
All right.
The other thing about sales tax is that calculation is based on the tax levy. So the reval that just happened that we saw on the tax revenue side in the 26 budget is not going to impact sales tax until 27. So we could, you know, the percentage that we're receiving could increase or even decrease, depending on where we end up in that total tax levy.
Good.
That's a great question. Let's get that together and we need to kind of look back and see, hey,
I
where
always
were we at?
like to know how well we guessed. I wish the weathermen could do that,
Yeah.
and we'd quit paying attention to them if we could. But
Right. No, great question.
next question, Max, is, I think it's Max, probably is, the permits by year with projected 2026. Projected 695?
So that's the, I don't have the sheet in front of me exactly, but from
Pretty
last
sharp
year,
up.
from 2025, we grew 30% in permits. But the thing is, to keep in mind, is that we're using iWork, our permitting software, for more. Now,
What are we seeing permits for?
oh, there's all different types of permits.
I know, there's
but
probably from the
new
little-
construction, accessory structures, pools, fences. We do minor and major submittals on there now as well. We also collect construction document fees.
Every one of those counts as a,
Yeah, because our permit, bridge and Katie, their tasks are separate, but let's say just use bridge for an example, has to look at, see what's submitted and then distribute it out as well. There's not just like it doesn't just automatically do it. So for example, if we get a retaining wall permit, bridge is receiving that and then she's going to engineering and sending it out.
okay. So these aren't projects, these are bits of a project. Some of them are projects, but most of them by far are probably
Yeah, but
bits.
there's like a point person. All these are going to our planning techs and they're
Okay.
distributing them out.
You know, Max has got some more data. I asked him just to kind of keep it simple with permits so you could see the trend. But we can get you some more in-depth information because I believe the number of projects that are happening, conditional zonings, things like that, those are increasing as well. It's not just the stuff you don't see, it's the stuff you see that's a huge time commitment for our staff as well. The conditional zonings, right? Y'all are being so thoughtful about the way you don't make decisions on the first night, really looking at these projects and talking to people. But the really intensive council involvement projects from a staff perspective, running those processes, it is a significant workload commitment as well. So I think that plus the permits and projects going up, we're in a spot where we need it. But we can get you some other information too. That's not just those kind of frontline, fence permits, permits as well. So you can see that as well.
Or, somebody say something.
No, I was,
Are we seeing a delay or a decrease or a slackening of the increase in major projects because of the lack of sewer? Shouldn't we?
I would think so, yes.
I mean, how the-
People are still submitting, and people are also getting sewer capacity. Some projects have been waiting 5 years that just got sewer capacity. For example, the Willows. So that's about to start.
Is that the one off of,
Stevens Mill across from, I think, Blackberry Ridge.
Yeah.
Press.
that's
I think
been,
they've already
it's
graded
been
some.
forever.
Yeah, it's been 5 years, and I wouldn't doubt that Stallings Farms, Jensen Farms, they're coming. Courtyards and Greenway just got sewer capacity. We're growing so fast.
It's a constant dance, I think, with that the town manager makes, is that in a growing place, you want to have the staff in place so that you can effectively manage and serve and process people's permits and things like that and handle it in a timely fashion. On the flip side of that, you don't want to grow too fast because if the bottom drop falls out, right, with development, then all of a sudden you're overstaffed, but you don't have the development fees coming in to do that. Which is one of the reasons until now I haven't added development staff for the most part. I've tried to get creative, hybrid positions, things like that. But I feel like we're at the point where it's going up so much that we need to do it. We need to add the position. And you ask a good question, David, which is, well, isn't the sewer capacity going to cause an issue? And is that going to stop? I think we'll have a little bit of runway to see that coming because the projects take so long down the pipe, right? If we stop getting projects, that gives us the runway to know, okay, just do it. We're seeing a little bit, but just the number of projects that are being submitted, it's not stopping. Yeah.
Last few conditional zonings, have probably last 6 or 7 or so, taken over a year.
And some of them 5.
Well, I'm sorry, for sewer capacity, 5 years, but for like conditional zoning processes,
Oh.
they've taken staff time over a year.
Just to reach us, you're saying? To get to council?
Yes.
Yeah.
That can't go over well with the development community, can it?
They would like things faster, but we have.
I know.
staff.
We are what we are.
Are we raising our fees?
Not this year.
Why not?
We raised our fees last year to match Matthews and New Trail Wax, all the highest fees.
Because this,
So
Lori,
we, yeah.
And yeah,
That's when it-
it's
that's
still
when it
not
went up.
stopping, so I guess if you want us to raise fees more, I think I could see how we
Yeah.
could do it.
Yes.
I would think so. The developers.
I think if there's a supply and demand indicator and that demand hasn't stopped and the price is elastic, then why not just keep going up?
Yeah.
Kurt, what's your experience with development fees and rapid growth? Sorry to put you on the spot there.
The developers are never happy, and so I think the elasticity is a good point, because you would see, I think, when fees started to be a hindrance, but I don't think that's likely. In Charlotte, there was a user fee model, and anything direct like that was 100% recovery. Other things, there was a public-private ratio that it might be 50-50, but development fees were pretty much whatever it cost was whatever was passed along to the developer in the fee structure.
Could you please explain what you meant by 100% recovery?
That if on the average, not per development, but the fees would be set if it took Max and his staff, if it cost them $5,000, just to pick a number, in the pre-development review, then that's what the fee was. So that planning was pretty close to 100% full fee recovery for the development portion, not the long-range planning pieces. But the development portions were pretty well 100%.
And is it standard practice just to go for 100%, or is it advisable to shoot for over 100%?
Well, first of all, it varies a lot from town to town as to what percentage they use, and some just set nominal fees. Some places would rather have the growth and would eat the cost. So you're not one of those. And so I don't know of any that capture more than 100%, but there's nothing to stop you from doing that.
Well, if developers all want to come here, we're not, losing any developers now. I don't see why we couldn't raise fees. I'm just talking off the top of my head. I don't know where to raise.
Max said he would charge or take a higher salary and let you lift it as high as you want.
Yeah, 100% capture there.
It seems like there would.
Is this something that you're looking into, looking to hire for rezoning fees, major site plan reviews, or individual permits? Because they're a lot different. So for example, a fence permit's $75.
Any of the above.
but Construction documents is $2,000 plus something per acre. So, I mean, there's so many fees.
I don't know. I'd have to think about
Max,
that.
you and I can get, what I'm hearing is there's an openness to the board, charge higher fees, I judge by the body language, they're not by not for the normal residents or mom and pops, like I'm getting a fence fee or some of the smaller fees. It's more the conditional zonings, the high time sucks that are taking up a lot of our team's time. Okay, and Max and I can get together and work on that.
Seems like, would there be a limiting factor that it seems like if you got too high, could it be seen legally as a quasi, impact fee, or?
There is a legal limit.
Okay.
I've talked to our attorney, but I don't know what that is.
Okay.
I think there's a few reasons.
Yeah, well, let us look into it.
Charlotte and Mecklenburg also did an expedited fee that you, if you were willing to pay way more, you could get on the expedited bus. And almost everybody got on the expedited bus to the point that it wasn't expedited anymore. So,
Express lane.
the express lane.
Toll lane.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's good to know. But, so, Alex, if you would please explore that option as well. Because I think it's akin to the hotel tax, right? The way that we help people understand that was it's on people who don't live here. And that's why it's good for us, because we're receiving revenue from people that we're not taxing our own citizens.
Yeah, and I think we need to make sure we're covering our costs,
At least.
The way we're looking at it was, I think a rational, intelligent way, in a sense, in that, is it market rate, right? But I think perhaps the next question to ask on top of that is the market rate and are we recovering our costs?
And are we leaving anything on the table?
What was your question?
I said, and are we leaving anything on the table? Meaning, could our costs be higher and the demand would still remain the same?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, let us go back and look at that. Really good thought, good feedback. Let us do some research.
Just out of curiosity, what, you said that the expedite was a large fee. Was that twice as much or 3 times?
Yeah, as well as I remember, it was 2.5 times.
Wow,
What
okay.
the normal, because for them, the value was in the time, which equated to money. So, if they could cut 6 months or 3 months off of the process, then they could make that work in the cash flow.
And just out of,
So I was saying, has
Well,
this
that's what I was
been
gonna
done
ask.
has this been done in a place our size,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to prepare for it, and you don't know up front what it's going to be, but.
and with that, I mean, I guess it takes as long as it takes now because we've got the work that has to happen to meet those dates. So does that mean that in the expedite, it was just, congratulations, you're just gonna work 24 hours a day?
No,
Or was it, there were pieces of the process that were effectively cut so that you could meet an expedited?
No, it wasn't that either. There was almost like a set-aside staff, a mirror staff that worked only on expedited projects.
Okay.
And then there was the mainstream staff that did the normal process. So it was all in the staffing, not in the decrease of regulations or anything like that.
Okay. Interesting.
And I guess you could also say, we have capacity for 1, 2 expedited projects at a time, and then the limit is reached. So not everybody thinks that that's gonna be the case.
Yeah, we need to be thoughtful about it. It almost seems like I like the idea conceptually, right? It almost seems like an idea more so for a larger place. Sure.
I have a question.
A bidding war.
What's that?
A bidding war.
I have a
Oh,
question.
we've already got 2.
Jesse, about the tax rate change impact to taxpayer document. For items A and B, where it's the average home value per Union County reval, is that tax value, and that's like per parcel land and structure?
That's the reval.
Yeah.
That came out last year that they said this is the new average.
So that's the average that's for the town, not for the county?
That's for the town.
Okay,
right.
great, thank you.
And the other one is exactly what it says. I pulled it off of Realtor.com, the median rate, sale rate for March.
So if we went with the 1 cent tax increase, just to make sure I'm reading this right, for the average home, and that's our most extreme option, right? Is option 4 is the 1 cent tax increase?
Thanks, man.
That I've given you.
Yeah.
Just 1 cent annually.
So for the average home in our town, that property owner would pay $44.65 additional for the entire year.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
$10, 1 cent is $10 for every 100,000 valuation.
the final number makes it easiest for.
$44.65, that's it, for the entire year.
Okay.
Alex, do you have what you need for going
Are we gonna
forward?
go over the scenarios?
We're running out of time.
Oh, we are?
Well, we need a little bit of time between this and the next one.
Yeah, what I'm sensing is,
And two guys aren't able to make it, so they apologize, but
no offense, no offense taken. So what I'm hearing is a lot of really good questions, thoughts. We can take those as we craft the budget. But the board, because there's some folks not here, doesn't want to make a commitment on which scenario to go with. And so what, I'll take that as meaning as me as the manager, we'll go back, we'll create a budget and make it the manager's recommended budget. Come back, give that to you by the 30th of April. And then y'all can say, we love it, it's perfect, nothing will change, or you can say, we hate it, we're gonna burn it. And flush our eyes after reading it, or something in between, right?
it's got an imagination.
Yes, ma'am.
The only scenario that makes any sense to me is 4, because the other ones were, by 2028, we're going to be in the hole, with our expenditures, our revenues.
By 27. Net.
And it,
Excuse me?
I said in every other scenario by 2027, net, we're in the red.
Right,
Yeah.
right. In the red or,
And I know
Close
Alex
to
is
it.
gonna present one
But
that does that, so.
yeah, and it seems like
Just
the,
the scenarios that were requested.
yeah.
right.
It does seem like the, just not involving the solid waste fee makes it simpler to just focus on that fourth scenario, that's just the tax, and especially looking at like just, $44, that's,
It's not overwhelmingly
I don't think
burdensome.
we don't need to split that over multiple line items, it just seems simpler, I don't know if anybody else would wanna.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying, I'm agreeing with you that it seems like it'll be simpler and easier for staff to focus on if we just look at doing this,
Yeah.
with the tax rather than trying to split it between taxes and solid waste fee collections.
I concur. I like item 4, or option 4.
Yeah.
Well, I did the tax rate impact for you just so you could see, because the words tax increase are just,
Popular?
you can call them that. Just so you could see what the reality is, so.
And for every scenario that you do bring forward in the future, this chart, at least for me, was like the best thing that there was.
Which
To just-
chart?
Sorry,
Okay.
this was super helpful to be able to say, at the end of the day, if somebody asks, we have all these items in a spreadsheet, what does it mean to me? It means $44.72 or whatever the case might be. Yeah.
So just to kind of summarize, leaning more away from the solid waste fee, more
Yes.
towards just a ad valorem tax potential rate adjustment, if I'm gonna do anything. Let's look at zoning fees. And we'll come back to you in April.
Later in April.
Yeah.
I do have remind me again why we keep the cop cars on the capital expense, even though we have to do it each year. It seems like that would just fold. I know you tell me every year, but
For accounting purposes, they are a capital expense. They qualify for that capitalization depreciation threshold.
okay. And I think that's where,
And each one is
Is its own.
used over a period of time, even though we buy new ones every year. But they have a useful life of 3 or 5.
right, and that, we'd appreciate them over that time period.
Right, and you're not replacing, you're replacing 3 this year, and then next year you're replacing a different 3. So it's not the same ones. We're just keeping it going to make sure that the police department always has reliable vehicles.
It just sometimes it seems like it throws it off a little bit because it makes it sound like it's almost an optional thing.
Right.
So, I don't know. It was just,
Well, I guess it is optional, right?
I don't want a 9-year-old car coming to my house.
Horses.
Yeah. Then you don't think it's optional.
Yeah, I don't think it's optional.
All right,
Motion to adjourn?
yes, motion,
Second.
all in favor?
All of
Aye.
Aye. Yeah.
So I do my sock drawer.
Huh?